All right.
I
Joe,
started to record, so the meeting's being recorded now.
Okay, and would you like to do roll call, please?
Ms. Cimaroli,
Here,
Mr. Knapp,
Here.
Mr. Tolmer,
Here.
Mr. Lennon. He said he'll be late. And Mr. Livingston.
okay, not yet. Okay,
And I'm Joe Cower. So you have a quorum.
okay, good. All right, so let's see here. Do we have anybody that wants to make any public comments this evening?
Bob Fryer, I don't know if I'm the only person that wants to do that.
It looks like, unless, did anybody sign up, Joe?
No, just if we could follow the agenda, name and address for the record.
Name and address.
no.
You have 3 minutes,
Sure.
Bob.
No, certainly. Excuse me. Bob Fryer, Fryer. I'm presently living in 508 Hunter's Path in South Fayette Township. And I wanted to, as you know, I've been spending years trying to study and improve the city planning features to help the people in Bridgeville. But I just wanted to quickly mention that with the big $2 trillion infrastructure thing coming through Congress, you guys have got to put together a spectacular economic improvement plan. And I think it would be recognized with the so-called experts that are going to take a look at it and decide if it's worth spending federal, state, and county money on it. Bridgeville has an ideal location. I just want to go over these with you briefly because I don't have that much time. The region's primary road, Washington Pike, and all 8 of the other secondary roads lead to Bridgeville because it was here 100 years before any of the other communities around here. The exit of the only north-south interstate highway in western Pennsylvania, I-79, is the Bridgeville exit, and it's located 500 yards from Bridgeville Central Business District. Third, the municipal, our municipal neighbors in the market area are Mount Lebanon, Upper St. Clair, and Bethel Park. Where the largest member of the highest income families in western Pennsylvania live, spending a maximum amount of retail dollars on services and goods. In the South Hills area communities, Bridgeville is the only one with a street parallel to its main street that is on the same level, which if you decide to continue the two-way couple comprehensive feature that's already in our plan, it will provide consumers with a convenient way to loop around and drive back to the business district to find a parking space or pick up at passengers. And 2 of its neighbors, 2 of Bridgeville's neighbors, South Fayette and Collier, have 2 of the fastest growing populations in Allegheny County. My recommendation, again, as I'm sure you've heard many times, this is not the time to be conservative about the comprehensive plan. You've got to put everything in it in terms of solving the transportation problem and the parking deficiency problem possible. This is not the time to be conservative in any way, and I hope you guys agree with me. Oh, by the one last thing, if I can take another 60 seconds, the two-way couple, Washington Avenue in Shady, is already part of Bridgeville's comprehensive plan, and I've found copies from Beckman and Associates, Classic Development, GAI Engineering, and Macon Engineering that have sent us drawings starting back years ago, all recommending that's like the only way you're going to solve the problem, because Bridgeville has 2 4-lane highways on opposite ends and a 2-lane street in between. I don't know if anybody, excuse me, I just want to mention that, and I'd like to listen to your discussions of some of these issues as the meeting goes on. And thanks for the time, Justin.
All right, thank you, Bob. All right, so let's move on to the adoption of the minutes. are there any corrections to the last meeting minutes on March 22nd? No changes, no questions, no comments? All right, I need a motion to approve, please.
So moved from Dale.
Dale approves, second.
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 All right, anybody oppose? All right, the motion passes. All right, so now let's move on to new business. There's actually no new business, so we'll move on to the old business. Now, the first item on the old business is the comprehensive plan update. And we received, or Joe received a email from Bill Henderson, president of the council, requesting that we join with the council members to form a committee to discuss the comprehensive plan. And I don't think that Bill, I got an email from Bill earlier saying that he was not going to be on. Joe, do you want to add anything to that? I mean, I know certain things, but you probably have more information than I do.
Sure. I think what we're hoping to do is make this a joint effort between Planning Commission and Borough Council. The council's already established a subcommittee or a working group that's made up of 3 council members, Mr. Shashowski, Mr. Colosimo, Mr. Henderson. We're hoping that we could get a similar panel from Planning Commission that by the end of the month, have this committee established so that next month and the month thereafter, we can whittle down the 6 proposals we received, figure out which ones we want to interview, and then have a candidate on board so that once we have a determination on the funding or where we're going to go with this, come late summer, we're ready to go. So that's the plan.
All right. Now, I did ask Bill a couple of questions. You know, probably there's going to be 3 planning committee members, commission members, and that it can be held either Zoom or in person, because I know there's certain people that prefer either way. But there are some valuable members here that we want to be included in this process. So if it has to be Zoom, I don't think that Bill has any issues. But preferably it would be a in-person meeting. And that's about all that I know, outside of the fact what Joe said. All right, any team members actually want to say if they're interested or not at this point? Or do you need more info?
Oh, Justine, I would just say who, you're talking 3 people.
Yes.
Is there anybody that doesn't want to do it?
Yeah, I'm definitely throwing my hat in the ring. It's something I'm very interested in staying close to and contributing wherever I can.
Okay, all right.
I'd be interested in participating. My only issue right now is I would not be able to do anything, attend any in-person meetings during the day before 4.
Okay, all right,
3:30 in the afternoon.
all right. All right,
My preference would be for Zoom, but you know,
okay,
we've got Mass, we've got, you know.
yeah,
So.
all right. And Mike, do you want to join that or shall I?
If you don't want, Justine, I'll be more than happy to do it. It's up to you.
I actually would like to join.
Then go right ahead.
Okay, great, thanks. All right, so with those, that's resolved, and then we'll get together with.
Justine, sorry, real quick. Are they looking to limit it to 3? It feels like the kind of thing where people who have, definitive interests, the more the better to a certain degree, right? At some point, it's diminishing returns, but is 6 versus 7 that much of a difference? Mike, if I'm talking you into something you don't want to be a part of.
Oh, no, not at all.
Tell me to stand down.
No, because I believe me, I have my opinion on, I already have my opinion on, if you're going to whittle it down to 3, I already have my opinion on who those 3 should be. So it's up,
Well, I have
I'd be
no
more than happy to be
issue.
part of it.
I have no problem with 4. It's just that matching what the council has already established. That's why. I mean, we'll do 4 then. I mean, because I
Whatever.
do believe that we all, what?
Oh, how'd you make it 5?
Maybe that's the feedback, Justine. There's 4 people who have expressed interest. If
Okay.
they have some heartburn about going
Yeah.
from 6 to 7, then okay, we'll figure it out. But
All right,
man,
Yeah.
better, more interest than less, I guess I would
Correct.
presume.
right.
You know, if somebody needs to step back, I can certainly do that, you know,
And
whatever.
same here.
And-
Me as well.
This is a good, the other item that you'll see on your agenda is the fact that we need to discuss the active transportation plan, which will also require a committee from the planning commission. So I guess we should finalize a comprehensive plan. We'll just tell Bill that we're going to select 4, see what happens. And then now can we move on to the active transportation plan? All right. Now, Joe, I have a question about that. Is that going to be another cooperation between council and planning?
That was our intentions,
Okay,
yeah.
all right, good. All right, so.
But Justine, this one's in motion right now. It's out to bid as we speak.
Correct,
Proposals are due back middle of May.
correct.
So this one's going to be a very fast process. Funding's in place, contracts are in place with the county. The county's on board with everything. So this one we'll be doing, but much sooner before the comprehensive plan.
So, all right, so once we get, okay. So what's the earliest you're gonna need, that they would need a committee?
June.
June for the committee, okay. And then decision by,
July. It'd be nice
Okay.
to have it for the July council meeting, an award contract at July council meeting.
okay,
So essentially, the whole month of June would basically be flush out proposals, interview, and have a recommendation to council for our July, second
Okay.
Monday meeting.
okay,
That's ideal.
okay, perfect.
Now, stuff happens, we understand, but if we want to keep on track, that's the plan.
Okay, now, are the same 4 people still interested, commission members, the 4 commission members interested in joining with the active transportation plan?
I see why not. It's one and the same in all reality.
Okay. I mean, it's just other people have some kids and commitments, so.
Yeah, I would between the 2 of them, I would prefer the comprehensive plan.
Okay.
Given the option.
Okay, all right. Well, then we'll pencil you in, Tim. All right, for the third one. I mean, for the second one. All right,
No, I said that in reverse. My preference is the comprehensive plan. You're
Correct.
saying leave it tentative for that second. I got you.
correct.
I
Okay,
got you. I got
All
you.
right. Joe, anything, any comments or questions that you have with us?
No, not at all. I think everyone's got a chance to review the RFP so they understand, what we're hoping to do with the project. And there seems to be some input or interest from the firms that we've solicited. So
Good.
it should be a decent response like we did for the comp plan.
Okay, perfect. All right, so let's see. Now, lastly, the high yield, low cost projects. Anybody do any thinking about those projects and how to work with them and what to do? Any comments? I mean, we can always shelve them until next month. It's really up to you guys. All right. All
I
right.
don't have a comment right now.
Okay. All right. Well, then, all right. So let me just do a little bit of housekeeping. So I did talk to the Laura Declois from the Parking Authority. And Laura did request that we hold off doing anything until about 12 months time period when businesses keep getting back into the swing of things. I personally am looking to better understand the historic actions of the parking committee. I want to know what happened when business was pre-pandemic. And I think that they should be able to provide that information. So I will get back with the parking committee again. I think that I had a meeting with Joe Cowher after the last council meeting and better understand that we already do have a protocol in place for the meeting, public speakers. All right, and the only other thing that I have is that we did talk a little bit last month about anything left over from the 2020 year that we needed to address or discuss, or something that may have been forgotten. Anybody come up with anything? All right.
I think a lot of those projects from 2020 are in that high yield, low cost project group.
Right. I mean, I did, one of the things that I had always been thinking about last year was the signage for Bridgeville. And that was finally resolved. That was one of my pet things in, I think, 2019. And this year their signs are going up. So, and they do look very nice, and great job, Joe. So, all right. Any questions or comments?
I have
Dale?
one.
Go ahead.
You mentioned protocols for speakers.
Yes.
You said that there's some already in place.
Well, there was that we identified, well, when we were in person, people actually signed their names and gave an agenda item that they wanted to discuss. Like,
Okay.
Jane Doe wanted to talk about chickens. All right. So what we did was simply, I noticed on the list that Joe showed me that there was an agenda item listed. It's just that perhaps maybe when we are still in Zoom methods, that we have the speaker identify what they want to talk about.
Okay.
Okay.
You probably talked about that earlier, and I apologize for being late.
No. We talked about it last month, not this month. So, okay. All right.
Justine, just a general question quickly. I know the whole toll booth concept of the Bridgeville interchange is already on the radar of council at a higher level. Do we as planning commission have any obligations, the wrong word, outside of just as borough residents contacting our own representatives? Is there anything that we should be doing more aggressively from planning commission to put forward our perspectives? I suspect council, in conjunction with some of the other boroughs and townships, is already doing that. I just didn't want to be asleep at the wheel,
Right,
as
right.
you know, what is a potentially very large impact to this area. I'm not
Right.
quite sure where planning commission fits into that whole thing. I'm open to perspectives from Joe or other commission members.
Right. I think, Joe, can you help us answer that?
Sure. Borough Council, I think you probably read about it,
Yeah.
adopted a resolution basically opposing it, and it lists out, the reasons why they're against it, mainly, Route 50 traffic, the negative effects it's going to have on the community, and so on. But we want to have bearing on a regional scale, so we partnered with South Fayette, Collier, and Upper St. Clair, and all four towns adopted the same resolution, and we had a cover letter that went to all the senators, the governor, the secretary of transportation, our congressmen, our U.S. senators, the PennDOT district executive, and it was signed by all four towns. If planning commission wanted to maybe put a similar letter of, hey, their opposition, we could send that on your behalf. But I don't know how much more it can be done from the town level. I know all the elected officials have been very active with the state officials voicing our opposition to it. So no one's sitting on their hands. It's been very active. But if planning commission wants to get involved, I think it would be a similar action where you could make a motion to, hey, you think it's a bad idea or what have you. And a letter could be sent on your letterhead to the same officials. And I'd be more than willing to help if that's something you want to do.
Well,
I think it,
Go ahead, Tim.
I think it can only help, right?
Right.
It's helpful to get that background because I did read the summary of it, Joe. I knew that we had taken a stance as a borough and as a kind of a community on a larger perspective. If it's a fairly simple gesture that doesn't back you up, I'd be all for it of just kind of echoing and growing that voice. But it's helpful to get the background that you did on the specifics. So
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I mean, I personally sent them an email, but not as a committee member, or commission member. So.
If you'd like, I could draft a letter by this week or next week. I'll get you a draft. I'll email to the group, and then if you're okay with it, I can have Justine sign it, and I'll send it out for you.
Okay. All right. Okay, Tim?
thanks, Joe. I'm good. Thank you.
All right. All right. So anybody else have any questions or comments from the commissioners?
One other question.
Yeah.
Is there anything new with new developments as far as Baldwin Street, McLaughlin Run? Joe?
No,
Okay.
I think it goes back to where public comment was with Mr. Fryer. The council's going to be probably trying to lobby for the federal stimulus funds, not the stimulus money, the infrastructure money, to do something for that large flood plan.
Okay.
That's where we're at with that.
Okay.
So,
I know I've followed up with the engineer about a month ago to say, hey, where were you at with your plans to show, like, option 4 was where we left it in October, where putting in like a quasi lake or what have you, somewhere upstream, up McLaughlin Run. And his modeling wasn't really supporting that, but they were going to get me a definitive answer, but it wasn't looking like it was going to be the solve all.
so I do have a question. Since we do have 3 different plans for flood mitigation in the borough, and as far as I know, nobody has definitely said we're going this route or that route, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so now how do we get out of this sort of log jam so that it looks like we can do something?
I think it's rather simple. I think 1, let's confirm that option 4, you can always have an endless supply of options.
Correct.
So like,
Right.
I don't want to open Pandora's box here.
Right.
So let's just keep it simple. That let's confirm that where we left in October, that option 4 is doable or not.
Okay,
We can come back and then we can say, hey, which one of these do we support? We vote on it and make a recommendation to council that option 1, 2, or 3 is the quote unquote flood plan that we would like the borough council to consider. And then council can take it or choose elsewise.
okay,
But really from memory, the 3 options were: 1, let's leave everything as it is, but take the creek, what was it? Repair Bower Hill Road, basically dig it down like 7 feet to get a good road base, put it back, raise the Baldwin Street Bridge so that it's higher for high water events, have the county repair replace the bridge up here at Bower Hill Road so that Center Pier's out of there.
Mhm.
And it puts all the levees in, it puts the pumps on, the dry side so that water on the dry side can be pumped into the creek. And there's flood walls basically from the roller skating rink all the way up to the park. This is not precise, but generally speaking.
right,
Option 2 did away with the Baldwin Street Bridge and made Baldwin Street into a dead-end street cul-de-sac.
right,
And that's the only difference. And then option 3 was kind of the larger grandiose plan that did away with Bower Hill Road, put a roundabout in where Baldwin Street intersects with McLaughlin Run. And it sends all the Bar Hill traffic down Baldwin Street, but it takes a lot of properties to make the traffic flow. So those are the three plans that were shared with us. So let me see where we are with the fourth option we asked him to consider.
Okay,
And then we can have it come back, and then we can take a vote on it. And then it's off our plate, and it's up for council to say, hey, this is the official flood plan of the borough, and we're going to work to get the money to make it happen.
Okay.
Each one was roughly $20 to $25 million. So
right,
it's going to take a lot of legwork on how to finance it. So it would be nice to have that official recommendation on such a large scale capital project from Planning Commission. So we've had the plans presented to us. We had the engineer here. We asked the engineer to do some work, which he is doing. We just need to get it back and show me on paper that it's done. And then we need to take a vote.
okay, all right,
At least that's my perspective of where I would think we would take this.
okay. Now,
I'd be open to anything, but that seems the most logical.
okay, so now the other question that I have is that is that something that we ask for with the infrastructure money, or no? Or is that total?
No, that's that is where I've been getting in conversation with council members, is that, hey, the federal government is putting together a large scale infrastructure plan,
Right.
not the stimulus money.
Right,
And maybe this is the ticket to make this happen. So they haven't come out yet with the infrastructure plan, that I'm aware of, that we can start applying for.
right,
So we need to start getting our ducks in a row fast, within
Right.
the next month or two, so that, when the funding does open up, we have a plan. We vetted it. We, as a community, said, hey, this is what we want. A majority vote has spoken, and council can take that and direct me to start applying for grants.
okay, all right. And is there a possibility of perhaps throwing in some more Bower Hill / infrastructure changes with that same project?
I don't see why not, because if we're going to do this, we're going to do it together,
Okay,
And that was the whole idea when you look at option one, what was getting that fixed.
okay, all right, okay. All right, thanks for that. Any other questions? All right. All right, so I'm going to open it up to any other public members again.
Excuse me, this is Bob again. Is your meeting coming to an end right now?
Yeah,
Okay, I didn't know that. Yeah, I just want to mention two other things. Excuse me. When you guys eventually pick, I guess, the city planning firm that you want to have update your comprehensive plan, it's essential that you tell them that you want Bridgeville transformed into to have a business district or two business districts that can successfully compete in this South Hills area, suburban area. That means you have, studies have shown, two of them have indicated that 50% of the people in the 5-mile radius of Bridgeville have been driving around the town for 50 years because of the traffic problem. By solving the traffic problem, you'll end up having twice the number of consumer motorists drive through the community. That's point number one. Point number two is, in terms of solving the flood problem, I think you better get a fifth typical solution, because the DEP, the University of Pittsburgh School of Engineering, and the study that I did indicated that the Bower Hill Road Bridge is not the problem. It's the Commercial Street Bridge. So someone is going to take a closer look at that. I'm certain that's not the problem. And the other thing I was going to mention, Bower Hill Road is the bridge where for 25 years the junk has been gathering, the debris, you know. And with the new debris catcher up in the park, do you guys feel confident that that will stop the big stuff from getting into Bridgeville? What do you think?
Personally, I think that there's nothing, like in medicine, nothing's 100% guaranteed that something's not going to happen. And, you know, we plan for a 100-year flood, and all of a sudden now we're planning for a 500-year flood. And
yeah, right.
There's no guarantee, in all honesty, that whatever we do is going to resolve all the
Well, I
issues.
I don't want to take up any more of your time before you adjourn, but I don't think you have to spend $25 million making a major improvement in reducing the flooding in Bridgeville. I'm convinced of that, and experts, I agree with them, or they agree with me. So I think you ought to open up. I'm sure you'll take other suggestions. I think you should do that.
All right. Great. All right. Thank you, Bob Fryer. And
Hey, what?
all right. Anybody else have any comments before we adjourn? All right. So I need a motion to adjourn. All right.
I'll make a motion.
All right. Second.
Dale's muted, so I'll confirm his second.
Maybe nobody wanted to leave.
Supermoon, come on.
All righty. Well, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you all very much for